have enough credibility and are full of question marks. You know, one of them is Boomplay.
Mukuka is in the studio right now. I don't remember the last time we had a conversation. Ish, a year?
Yeah, man. I haven't been here at least in 1 year.
Yeah?
At least in 1 year. So good to be back, bro. Thank you for having me.
I'm happy every time that you drop a song, you always remember saying, I need to go to Joy FM, Prime
of course,
TV,
man.
have a conversation.
Of course.
Okay?
Of course.
But how is everything going for you?
It's been probably the biggest and busiest year of my life so far. You know, it's constantly traveling for shows. Even this week, like the day after tomorrow, I fly to India for 3 shows in 3 different cities. Then I come back for a very special launch that I hope we'll get some time to talk about. And then go to Mozambique, Maputo, 2 shows, come back, Livingston, back to Lusaka for 1 show, and then back to Mozambique for 2 shows in the north. And that's my December.
Can I be honest with you? You make those traveling look easy, as if you're boarding a bus from maybe town to maybe Kabulonga. You make it sound easy. But how has it been for you, moving from point A to point B, visiting new places?
It's been good. It's been such an eye-opener, you know, taking my music around the world, taking the Zambian flag around the world.
Yeah.
It's been beautiful. I've seen so many cities, countries, venues that have been inspiring, and I'm constantly working on my own craft. You know, I'm learning what the international standard is, how people do things outside, and constantly trying to be competitive and maintain a competitive advantage over all of that. So it's doing a great thing for me personally because I am constantly improving myself, not only as a person but also as a musician. And I love that. You know, I'm all about growth. I hate being in the same place. I hate being in my comfort zone. I like pushing myself, and I think all of this that I'm doing now is doing that. But it's challenging, man.
Yeah.
Like flying around like a bird. It comes with its set of challenges.
Any management that's been helping you around?
Yes, I do have a management team for outside of Zambia. You know, everything I do, so there's a lot of support there, which is helpful. You know, teamwork makes the dream work. You can't do everything alone.
Let's not talk too much. I want to get to play the song,
Sure,
so that people have an idea what we're talking about.
Fantastic.
Right here. Your brand new record playing right here on Joy FM for the very first time. I want us to talk about Spotify issues. I don't know if you've seen what's been trending on social media regarding Spotify.
Yes.
And we'll also get to find out, the last time we had a conversation, we're talking about your sound that you've been trying to put across out there on the other side. Brand new song.
Yes, sir.
This year. In December.
Hasn't even dropped yet. It drops on Friday.
Okay.
And it's my very last release of 2023 entitled Osanisia.
Wow. I was asking you in the background,
Yeah.
like that is like a serious side, a bit of serious side of MumbaYachi.
Yeah.
Very different sound.
Exactly.
And just people that have been following you for a while, they understand that sound. Let's have a conversation about your sound.
Yes.
For the sake of those people who are listening right now, we have people from Malawi who listen to Joy FM. We have people from Botswana also who listen to Joy FM right here. Maybe explain a brief about your sound.
Yeah. So, you know, being part Zambian, part Greek, part African, part European, my music is fusion, right? So I as a human being, am a piece of fusion, a cocktail of cultures. And so I express that in my music. So what I strive for is for the listener to be able to identify 2 different cultures coming together. You know, you have in this specific song, obviously it's in Zambian language. The song is in Bemba, although the title is in Nyanja because it's such a beautiful word, Osanisia. But a lot of the production, although it's Afro house, it's Afro house, that's the genre, it is still quite internationally packaged, you know, especially in terms of the melodies and the chord changes. It has this Western influence, but clearly meeting with an African influence. And that middle point, that middle ground, that's where El Mukuka lives. So even my album Zebra, the reason I called it Zebra is because I'm half black and half white, just like a zebra. So the 2 cultures coming together, the 2 sounds, the 2 styles, that's what I'm about. I'm a fusion musician. I'm like I'm experimenting constantly with crossing cultural boundaries and mixing cultures, and that's what I love. You know?
Experimenting sound sometimes can be very hectic for you, making sure that you push because you're trying to push a different sound to people.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your sound when you're pushing it out there.
Yeah.
For example, the countries that you've visited there. How's been the feedback?
It's been great. Afro House is blowing up, bro. In Europe, some of the biggest clubs are booking Afro House DJs. Even now, I'm flying to India, bro, on Wednesday. I'm playing in Bangalore, I'm playing in Hyderabad, and in Goa. All 3 gigs, Afro House. In India. Like, just think about that for a second. So not Afro beats, not Amapiano, Afro house. Exactly like this song. So there is a massive market out there in the world. Same thing's happening in Europe, same thing's happening in the States, obviously in Africa as well. You got Kenya with a booming market. Kenya is one of my favorite places to play on the continent. I go there regularly, at least 2 times a year. Another place I love to play in South Africa, of course. But there's so many countries popping up now, jumping onto this wave of Afro House, and it's an amazing thing for Africa. It's amazing.
You've been in your own lane for a while now. Most especially where I feel like, don't you sometimes get distracted when you see other people doing certain things and they are booming up, everybody's in support with them?
No, I do.
The Mukuka's journey has been quite very different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're all human beings. Sometimes when we see other people succeeding in whatever that they're doing, sometimes it gets to us. We feel like we want to do what they're doing. In your case, why have you always kept it like in your lane?
Yeah.
And the feedback has been they are getting there.
Yeah.
But there are other people who are doing big things.
For sure. I mean, look, I think I've accepted the fact that I'm not mainstream in Zambia, and that Zambians will still take some time to accept my music. And what is motivating, though, is that I've been doing this for 11 years professionally, and I've already seen more and more Zambians jump onto the trend. So I know it's happening, and I know in another 11 years we will be in a whole different place. But of course, sometimes it's a little sad to realize that your own people don't take you for granted, don't fully appreciate you. You know, it's a slightly heartbreaking feeling that I know I'm not the only one who has experienced this. It happens a lot to artists from various disciplines. But what motivates me is the progress I have seen, my vision, and the growth I'm seeing internationally. I don't do what I do just for the Zambian market. And I'm one of the few international DJs we have in this country because I've seen the potential of the international market and the possibility of taking the Zambian flag with me and my music out there and carrying it on various stages in various cities and countries across the globe. And that's what I'm doing. And more Zambians are starting to notice that and like, oh, wait a minute, this guy is onto something. What's this guy doing? This black sheep, he's paving his own way, doing his own thing, but it's working. And one of the secret ingredients has been consistency. Obviously, striving for improvement, always wanting to make my sound better, and learning from what's going on in the industry, but consistency. Just the same way you said, I've stuck to my lane all these years. The fact that I've done that, although it is not mainstream and I'm not receiving some of the heat that, let's say, some of our mainstream artists are receiving, there is respect that is being given and an appreciation for sticking to that lane. I think it's always a bit disappointing when artists just jump on trends. So 1 minute they're pushing this sound, next minute they're pushing that sound, next minute, because trends always change. Trends are not constant, but a vision, a sound, an identity is constant. So I know that a time will come when Zambians will understand what my vision has been all these years. It'll just click. And I've got a feeling it's when I bring a Grammy home.
We all can't be the same. We wait for that, but we all can't be the same. Like from what you have been from explaining right there, I've seen hip hop artists turn into doing Dunka music because they want a hit song. I haven't seen you jump in any other sound apart from your sound. Now, the other question I would like also to find out is if it's not Sam Sakala, if it's not Ebo Chungu, now MumbaYachi. Let's talk about the collaborations when you are picking on who to work with. What is the first thing that comes in your mind?
Sound, not brand, not the number of followers on your Instagram account, not the trending stories in the news, your sound. Tomorrow I was just texting with Teresa Ngambi. We have a studio session. She's coming to my studio tomorrow. because we want to work on a song for next year. Again, another, let's say, black sheep that I have selected.
But everybody's pushing for numbers.
So I obviously it is a business, and I take the business side seriously. But first is the music. I got into this for the music first. So, and I get criticism sometimes because Zambians expect me to feature singers that are currently super hot, that have smash hit songs, that are like deep mainstream musicians locally. And that's not a bad thing. I don't mind at all. In fact, it's good for business. What I do mind, though, is the fact that they might not necessarily add the right kind of input to my song. You know, it needs to come with artistic value as well, not just business value. The best kind of collaboration is when you have both artistic and business value added through the collaboration. But if it's just business and no artistic value, man, like, when I'm no longer on this earth, I want people to look back at my discography and say, wow, okay, this guy actually left behind some beautiful music. I don't want them to think, he just wanted to make quick money and get like a large following by jumping on what's hot or working with people who are not really suited for his sound, but just because they were hot. So that's the argument. It has to work with my sound. It's not that I don't want to work with let's say vernacular singers. For example, this song Osanisia, completely vernacular, 100%, no English word, not even the title. So I have shown Zambians that this is possible. You can do a track packaged internationally but in a Zambian language. So now you've got both worlds in this song. You have like the local world and you have the international world in terms of the different markets. But I don't want to compromise on my artistic integrity, and I think that's what I am insisting on, and that's why I'm very picky about who I work with.
Let's talk about Spotify. I don't know if you have noticed people showing off how many people are listening to their stuff, how many people are streaming. Let's have a conversation. Why do you feel like it's very important that artists need to put their music on Spotify?
Well, firstly, Spotify is a legitimate platform. It's not an illegitimate platform where you don't get paid. Like, you do get paid. It's not much. Let's face it, it's not much. I think for 1 million streams on average, an artist could receive $4,000. Now, that, of course, has to be divided between the artist and the label and maybe any other featuring artists. So it's not all of that money that will come to the artist unless they're independently releasing the song. But it works, right? So it's all about numbers. The more you stream, the more you get. That's just 1 million. But imagine a scenario where the artist is streaming 10 million or 100 million. You know, now we're talking about larger numbers that are actually trickling into your bank account. There are some other platforms out there that just don't have enough credibility and are full of question marks. You know, one of them is Boomplay. Let's face it, not many people know much about Boomplay. And it's a platform that was set up specifically for the developing markets. You know, in Europe, people don't even know what it is. Like, they've never heard of it. It doesn't exist. Those guys don't even bother entering the European market because it's full of regulations, and it is already dominated by Spotify and Apple Music, and of course Deezer following right behind. So I think it's important for musicians to put their work on the legitimate platforms. Because it's also so convenient for their listeners. So let's say you're a Zambian who wants to listen to Zambian music, multiple artists, all your favorite artists. You pay your monthly subscription, which is actually pretty cheap in Zambia. It's pretty cheap. It's much cheaper than it is in other countries. And with that subscription, which is probably cheaper than some 6 packs of beer, imagine, you get full access to high quality music for the entire month. You know, and now you can stream everyone from your Chungu to your Maps to your El Mukuka to your J-Rocks, whoever, all in one platform. You don't have to go to YouTube and start downloading stuff illegally and worry about low quality and maybe the song is cut or there's some like audio snippet that has been dropped inside the song. Now it's like clean audio. You can even download it offline. So let's say you're traveling or you're in an area where you don't have internet or Wi-Fi, you can still stream the music. So it's just, you know, it's something that Zambians should jump on. It's affordable, it's available, and it's also a way to support our own artists. Streaming on Boomplay, I don't think is supporting local artists. I have 1 or 2 songs on Boomplay that were uploaded there illegally.
Okay.
I'll say it.
And you have
It's
no
illegal.
idea.
No, but the
Did
whole
you-
platform in general is not really a credible platform.
Did you try to do a follow-up on that illegally?
No, I mean, it's an old song. I'll leave it. But should they add any new music, they'll probably get in trouble because the record labels I'm working with now will follow up. So, I don't see that being, a sustainable solution to music streaming in Africa and specifically in Zambia now. I think we need to go for the mainstream platforms. And we need to encourage Zambians to get on board so we can stream our own musicians and we can generate a presence on these platforms. Right now, Zambia doesn't really have a presence. We don't have a Spotify office. We don't have an Apple Music office. In fact, we don't have any office locally for one of these larger streaming platforms. How can we get to that stage? Well, by proving to them that we have consumers, that are willing to stream, and that we have numbers. And once that happens, for sure, in a couple of years, they would consider opening an office here. So that's where we need to be heading.
Let's talk about your favorite streaming platform right now. Without hesitation, every time you drop a song, like it will be your first one, like this song, your brand new song. Where can people stream it from?
So starting on Friday, right now, the only way to listen to this song is right here, right now. But on Friday, it finally comes out everywhere. And another reason why it's so good to put your music on these platforms is because it's very easy. It's just one upload through the distributor and it goes everywhere. So people can find it on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Music, on Deezer, on Tidal, whatever you use. And you can always just go through my social media platforms, Mukuka, EL space Mukuka on Instagram, on X, which used to be Twitter, on Facebook, whatever.
Your favorite social media?
Still Instagram, man. Like, I feel too old for TikTok. And I love doing videos and reels, but man, like TikTok, I feel a bit old for it. I have a presence, a small presence.
Yeah.
But I think my dominant account still is Instagram. Of course, I take my Facebook seriously because Africa still is mostly Facebook territory.
Yeah.
So even Facebook has a following 3 times bigger than my Instagram, on my Facebook. So, but I don't know. I mean, some of these newer platforms, like I'm on them, but it's I don't really understand 100%.
Let me try to find out this. Every time you go out, maybe for example, you are telling me saying you're going to be traveling to India. What is like your playlist mostly when you are playing to these foreign countries? What's like your playlist mostly?
So I try everywhere I play. Sometimes I don't stick to this 100%, but I try and play a nice balance between El Mukuka songs and other songs that I like. So it's like a 50-50 balance. One El Mukuka track, one other track that I like by another DJ, another El Mukuka track, another track that I like. But depending on where I'm going, the set is prepared in a certain way. This is my first time playing in Asia, first time playing in India, so I actually don't know what to expect. So I'm gonna have I'm gonna prepare in a way where I'm ready for anything almost, which is exciting. But if you know the place, if you've been there before, let's say Mozambique. I'm going to Mozambique next weekend. I know the vibe there. I know I'm going to throw in some Portuguese tracks because those guys speak Portuguese. They don't speak English. So I know that I'm going to address their culture and pay respect to their culture by having a few tracks in Portuguese. I'll do a similar thing in India. And I try to do that wherever I go. So you kind of understand who's hot there, what's going on, the cultural setting, the taste of the people, and you address that. It doesn't have to be to a large extent, but you address it even just a little bit. It's a way of showing respect to the audience there. It's like, oh, okay, this guy has actually done his research. He knows who we are, and he is showing us respect by playing, this or that song. So that's usually the process when I'm.
Have you ever been in a situation where you play certain music, then the audience, they don't react to this?
Yeah, no, it happens. That's why you have to be prepared. You've got to have several playlists ready on record box, and you just have to be versatile to be able to kind of divert from the path that you had initially wanted to stick on, just to be able to capture them. And sometimes it doesn't work, but that's life. Not every performance is perfect or goes perfectly well, But as you do it more and more, you get to understand how to navigate this, and you get better.
Amazing song, amazing brand new song right there that you brought for us. Simple, straight. Right now, you said it's dropping this week on a Friday.
Yes, drops this Friday.
Is there any other access on your YouTube channel?
Yes, actually, it did premiere on YouTube last week Friday on a really cool channel called Medora's in the House. It's like a big Afro House channel. So people can technically stream it already only on YouTube and SoundCloud. But in terms of the streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, that will start only from this Friday.
Any other things that you wanted to talk about as you also give us a review for this year? Maybe on your side, I know I asked some questions, but maybe you left out something for this year, 2023. Is there anything that you want to talk about?
Absolutely. I think one of the coolest things happening this year, and one of the coolest things I've ever done in my career is create my own gin, which I'm launching next week. So a few partners and I have been working on this for over half a year now. The gin is called 1964.
I've seen it posted.
Yeah,
you have been posting about it on
craft
Facebook.
gin, and we launch it next week. It's a soft launch by invitation only. You are invited.
Wow!
And everyone listening is a witness that I just invited him.
Okay. I'm recording this interview by the way. Okay.
This is legit.
Yeah.
So it's a soft launch with a guest of honor, and then we will have the first rollout, phase 1, where we make the gin available in a select few restaurants, hotels, and like bars / clubs. And next year we start now with phase 2, which will involve 1964 branded events and distribution to a lot more places. So gradually we're going to build this gin up until for years, right? But until Independence next year, where we want to do a really special event and actually release a special label to commemorate our 60th independence next year. So it's a really exciting project, you know. I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time, and finally doing it, bro. We are literally just over a week away from the launch, and you know, we've put a lot of care, a lot of passion, and a lot of scrutiny into creating this brand, because we want it to be a symbol of Zambian pride, a symbol of Zambian excellence, and of course, it is a symbol of Zambia's freedom, 1964. So this is probably the biggest project I have in the bag right now. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, El Mukuka, happy, and we're super looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to attending and maybe giving the listeners a review.
Absolutely, please. You know what? So just to interrupt here.
Yeah.
Gin is made by distilling ethanol and adding juniper berries as the main botanical. But what we've done is we've gone and interpreted that recipe for a Zambian context. So we've added the baobab fruit, which is obviously an indigenous fruit to Zambia, with some orange to give it a nice citrus taste, especially the aftertaste that kicks in about 3 to 4 seconds after taking a sip. So I'm very curious to know what you think when you try it.
Wow. It was good having a conversation with you. Thank you very much for coming through right on Joy FM.